to the Scouting Room Podcast with Dame and Dan. If you love NFL football, college football, and the NFL Draft, this podcast is for you. Touchdown! Dame and Dan will provide real analysis featuring analytics and film to back up their takes. Please sit down, grab your drink, and let's scout.
After letting Javonte Williams walk in free agency, Sean Payton was searching for someone to help lead the backfield in Denver. And after they selected Harvey in the second round, it would appear that he's got his man to lead the backfield for these Denver Broncos. Now, what is Harvey going to bring to the fold? He had tons of production at UCF. He comes in to the combine at 5'8", 205 pounds, ran a 4.4. So first thing we're going to notice here is the press and pop, He's going to press the line of scrimmage. He does this a lot. It's one of his biggest tools to bring in and manipulate second-level defenders, but he also forces them to believe he's going one way and then bounces the other. We see that overhang defender on the right side of the offensive line come down right here. Number 7 is just going to come right around, unblocked, right? He's going to do that. Right here, it looks like they are running a little bit of inside zone with UCF. So this could also be duo. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell, but these blocks line up really well for double teams here. Even here, you're going to block here, but everyone steps in the same direction off to the left. That's why I'm more inclined to believe it's inside zone, but again, it could be duo considering how many double teams they get. So here we come to the play. You've got overload, 2 tight end sets here. Boom, we got double teams. Everyone's kind of crashing down. Number 7 brings out. And Harvey's going to do a nice job of pressing the line of scrimmage, right? We want to bring these linebackers as close to the offensive line as we can to let them work up to the second level, try to get those players on defenders. So he's going to press and then pop when he sees number 7 get close. Right there it is, that lateral jump cut all the way out to the outside of the left-hand side of the offensive line. He makes one guy miss, makes another one miss there in space, and then he's able to get positive yardage. So all in all, we like what we see from the press and pop perspective. He has pretty good peripheral vision and then that lateral agility to be able to do that. I will say right now that he does need to speed that up, right? The tempo needs to speed up just a little bit because those NFL defenders aren't going to be as slow or on the edge. They're going to close and get him pretty quickly. But with that patience, right? We talk about how patience can deliver into NFL running lanes and how quickly you can get into the second level as long as you find that space, right? So there we just saw him lower his shoulder, right? At 5'8", 205 pounds, he has natural leverage. So he's not a huge back by NFL standards, but I like the patience right here. We have a couple of defenders that are going to get loose, and then you have someone coming this way, right? Who's going to end up getting blocked up. The patience that he has to be able to let some of these gaps unfold, and then the natural leverage that he creates just putting his right shoulder down and then bowling over that defender. So again, this one's a little bit more like a duo. So you have the offensive line again creating those natural double teams there. Number 5 right here is going to act like he's blocking, but he's going to come out here. And then you have a block down right here. So this one looks closer to duo to me. And we have right there the patience. Number 10 has to respect the quarterback option right there, so we don't have to worry so much about that. Number 29 is going to get picked up by 72. Just patient at the line of scrimmage. Again, press that line of scrimmage and then get right into that lane where he does a really nice job. Again, popping, waiting, that lateral footwork there. It's patience, and he's doing a nice job of creating that. And then we get to see some of that contact balance. We talk about how natural leverage created from his height and his weight, but again, it's understanding how and different angles to create. So right there, he's outside. He kind of gives a little bit of a stutter step right here. Right there, stutter step, and then he's going to take his right shoulder and lean it in to number 2 as he's squared up, right? Now he's not squared up. That angle as he's jump cutting to the left, lowering that shoulder, presses down, and then he's able to jump right out of it, make that number 3 coming in defender miss, and then get tackled a little bit later. So I think he's a natural zone running back. He does run duo. He runs through counters and power runs, but he does have that natural press pop ability to find some cutback lanes, go with inside zone, outside zone, but able to cut back. We see that quite a bit. So I like that from him. We got some inside zone right here. where he's able to just be creative, right? He has a natural make you miss ability with his stutter step, the shoulder shimmy. He uses that to great effect right there. Again, understanding that you have a couple of defenders coming down at where you're currently at, right? Different angles. And we talked about the peripheral vision a little bit earlier. Again, he's pressing and he's going to pop out here into space where there's more. So he's bringing those defenders in towards him, and then he's trying to get to where he knows there's a blocker on the outside and there's far more space to maneuver. So nice job of creating different angles of incoming possible tacklers and then breaking those tackles or creating missed tackles, excuse me. He's going to have to improve in terms of breaking tackles. We saw him lower his shoulder into someone earlier, but he is far more of a make you miss guy than a tackle breaker. He does very well to create arm tackles, right? You have to respect that QB option, so that's a naturally created arm tackle, and then he gets into space, and right there, that little shoulder stop, that jump cut out creates another arm tackle. This one diving at the leg, another arm tackle, and 3, instead of trying to tackle him, he kind of tries to push him out. Balance at the sideline. You like to see the balance right there too. He has very good balance. That comes again from his natural 5'8" frame, where he's 205 pounds, but that jump cut outside with some burst and speed to get into the end zone. You like to see that from RJ Harvey. So when we think about the construction of the running back room in Denver, you've got Jaleel McLaughlin. You also have Audrey who seems to be more of the short yardage and goal line back for Denver. They needed somebody that has a little bit more juice to give them some of that. And right away, we see that RJ Harvey's going to bring that to the backfield. He needs to do this more often in terms of finishing runs. We saw that earlier in the clip montage where you see him lower his right shoulder. But the contact balance, I think, is good. NFL, maybe average. I think he's going to have to, again, improve some of that, be willing to run through contact. But again, we just see that burst through, opening the holes. I really do appreciate his willingness to just kind of be patient behind the line. Even sometimes it does take a little bit longer. But right here, you see they get out here on some blocks. Someone gets pushed into the back. So we got some patient steps to be able to get into that A gap, right? That lateral step. He's got very good lateral quickness, agility, footwork, and he's natural balance to be able to get through those, make those lateral cuts right and left, and then juice through the hole all the way through to the next level. So I really do appreciate the footwork that he's able to traverse. We've seen multiple times where he's able to traverse different things and get into space, get out of space. So that creativity as a runner to be able to find space is very useful. My problem, I think, that comes through is the creativity sometimes nabs behind the line of scrimmage. So right here, we've got this GY counter from right to left. They're going to pull the Y and the G and the guard from right to left. And instead of following his blocks, he will dance the line of scrimmage a little bit too much and then also kind of go off on his own. So again, you've got GY counter. Number 72 is coming out the block. Number 5 is coming out too. So he's going to take this towards the line of scrimmage. And instead of going with his blocks, right, he's even angling right here. But he's paying a little bit too much attention about what's happening right here is coming down. And this guy's coming here, and then you have this number 9 out here. And not reading number 7 is just kind of sitting here. He kind of forgets about that player. So as the blocks are unfolding, you see he probably should have gone this way because you follow 5 around. Again, be patient. Let him work that block. You can jump cut to the outside possibly. Instead, he jumps to the right. Even the camera thought he was going to the left because that is the natural flow of the block. So he will go against the grain when it comes to blocks. At times, he won't always follow them. And sometimes you do see him be a little too, I guess, either patient or dancing behind the line of scrimmage too often. That can get him into trouble. So just from a running perspective, we do see some of the natural tempo that I mentioned earlier in the breakdown, that he needs to speed up a little bit. When those holes open up in the NFL, they're going to close a lot quicker. So instead of being overly patient and pressing holes too quick too much, he needs to make those decisions a little bit quicker behind the line of scrimmage. One of the other issues with his game is that he's just not a natural pass protector. He's small by NFL standards. Again, he's got a pretty good frame for a 5'8", a running back. Again, but overall, he mostly avoids pass protection, if at all possible. And UCF didn't always have him really blocking. Against Florida was one of the only times you saw them behind very early in the game where he had to pass protect a little bit more. You want to close this down a bit a bit more. You want to be able to actually wall this defensive blitzer into number 52, essentially. Use the offensive lineman to your advantage. And instead of like actually doing much, he gives too much space, right? He's not actively blocking. He's just kind of there and lets the player fall off of his arms. There's no real attempt there to block him. It's more of just, I'm trying to get in the way. And that's a problem, specifically in the NFL, where we know pass protection is paramount for these guys that want to live on third down. He doesn't have a ton of pass reception production at UCF either. He's more of a check down guy, a swing, a pass. But if you're going to be able to get on the field on third downs and be an effective player, we have to see better effort as a pass protector, better technique, willingness to be physical. Only a couple of times did I really see him get after it. Most of the time you saw him in one-on-one situations like this, where he was defeated pretty quickly, or he's behind the line of scrimmage and blocking mostly his offensive lineman, trying to help that way. So I need to see more improvement from a technique standpoint and physical nature in pass protection. The want to isn't really there. The technique isn't really there. And overall, he's going to get his quarterback hit more often than not if he is in the NFL on the third down situations as a pass protector. So this is just more showcasing what he was really used for. One of the only times I actually watched him run a wheel route, and they did forget about him. So you do see the natural hands over the shoulder here. A good job letting the football travel to him. This is showcasing more of the hands than anything. I like him from a wheel route perspective. I think that he has enough speed, with a 4.4 time there at the combine. There is some speed there, I think, more often than not in the NFL. He's going to get caught from behind, but at the end of the day, he's got enough to create explosives in the passing game. If he's, the screens or some of these, if he gets forgotten about in the flats going to a wheel route. So I do like the possibility of some passing down upside, but overall, if he wants to get on the field more and be a trusted player in some of those third down situations, he is going to need to have more pass protection technique to be able to be trusted in those situations. And then at the very end of the day, we do have some decent burst. I think the secondary acceleration when he breaks tackles, he's going to get caught from behind more often than not, like I said right here. But the patience behind the line of scrimmage to be able to do what he does is very unique in terms of guys that don't have all of the tools, right? We talk about some true 3-down backs that have all of it. He really does have the patience and I think the vision to be able to attack inside zone. When you press, you bring defenders in towards that offensive line and allow blocks to unfold at a very high rate. And I do appreciate what he does from the press and pop perspective. So everything that we're seeing here, getting into the front side of the play on inside zone, you see the vision, right? The quick decision makings that he can make right there. He jumps inside, 7 goes around, he breaks a tackle, someone's falling behind him, he breaks that tackle, then he gets caught from behind. So he's going to be able to create explosives in the run game. I think Sean Payton and Harvey combined with McLaughlin and then Audrey as well are a good committee backfield for what they want to do. And I really do believe that Harvey is going to be able to lead the backfield in Denver overall. So just a couple of quick notes from the film here is that I like the compact build. I think that he has enough juice and lateral agility to make things happen behind the line of scrimmage, particularly with the way that he presses and pops to the outside. He's a very good zone, and I like him with duo, not so much with gap concepts where he has to follow blocks. I think that's where you see some of the derailments in his game, where he's kind of wanting to dance behind the line of scrimmage a little bit too often. So appreciate that from the patience perspective. And then the burst, I think, is good, not great, but he does get into space and then he can make guys miss over and repeated. That clip that we show where he's got 4 guys lined up and he's able to make arm tackle there, arm tackle there, arm tackle there. He does a very good job of that in creating some of those plays, but the contact balance is, I think, good at best. And if he wants to be better in the NFL, he's going to have to put on a little bit more weight, which will take away from the juice, a little bit from the burst, and then that long speed as well. Got to get better on third down. But I think the RJ Harvey, again, maybe overdrafted a little bit, but he's going to probably lead the backfield in Denver as their first, second down back, possibly get him some screens here and there, but I don't think the pass upside and third down upside is really there for Harvey early on in his career. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of who I believe is going to be the leader in the clubhouse in Denver to be the committee backfield lead there. Please, you guys, if you're new to the channel here at the Scouting Room, join it right now. Hit that sub button, hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.